The bill was read for the first time today, being Wednesday, 14th day of May 2025. The 2025 FCT Statutory Appropriation Bill seeks to authorize the issue from the Federal Capital Territory Administration Statutory Revenue Fund of the Federal Capital Territory Administration account the total sum of 1,323,823,708,392 naira only, of which the sum of 150,353,906,168 naira only is for personnel costs, while the sum of 343,777,448 naira only is for overhead costs, while the balance of 1,289,624,776 naira only is for capital projects for the service of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, for the financial year commencing from 1st of January and ending on 31st December of the year 2025. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the thrust of the FCT 2025 statutory budget proposal is to ensure an effective and enduring service-oriented administration for the completion of ongoing projects and the provision of effective services to the residents of the FCT. Highlights of the capital expenditure of FCT 2025 statutory appropriation bill. The total proposed FCT 2025 statutory appropriation is 1,783,823,708,392 naira, out of which the sum of 150,353,906,168 naira only is for personnel costs, and the sum of 280,527,373,668 naira only is for overhead costs, while the balance of 1,289,690,124,776 naira only is for capital projects for the service of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Mr. President, very distinguished senators, emphasis has been placed on the completion of ongoing projects, particularly those with high impact on the provision of services and infrastructure to the residents of the Federal Capital Territory. However, a few new projects that are considered absolutely necessary have also been included in the budget proposal. Mr. President, most distinguished colleagues, I urge you all to give this bill an expeditious passage into law. I thank you and may God bless you.
I remain Senator Peter Onyekachi Ebonyi with the golden crown of Ebonyi North Senatorial Zone of Ebonyi State. Mr. President, I rise to support this bill, and I'm doing that considering what I can describe as total infrastructural transformation that is ongoing in FCT today. It therefore requires the cooperation of the Parliament to enable the Honorable Minister, Nyesom Wike, to continue his good works. Mr. President, digesting further the budgetary provision, we can see that much provisions are made for the infrastructure development of the capital city which is the citadel of power for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Another area I would like to use this medium to draw the attention of the FCT minister is the people living within the Abuja airport. Mr. President, I want the FCT minister to extend his infrastructure development of the city within the surroundings of the Abuja airport. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, if you are descending into Abuja airport, the habitants, the type of infrastructure within the environs, Your Excellency, does not represent the good image of this country. And I think that the FCT minister should capture in their next budget, if not incorporated in this, to either relocate the habitants of the people within the airport or renew the area, at least, because that is the mirror of the country as we are descending into Abuja airport. Some of us, if you take into account to view the environs of the airport while descending into Abuja, you will agree with me, Excellency, there is an eyesore. It doesn't give good image of the nation, and I think something has to be done about it. So I urge you, all my colleagues, to support this all-important bill, all geared towards transforming completely the FCT of Nigeria. Thank you.
So, no, if you are coming from the airport,
if you are descending,
the first place you see,
if you are descending,
let's take it gently.
Yes, Excellency.
The first place you see on the right is the presidential wing. Thereafter, you come across a very beautiful flyover.
Yes, Excellency.
Which is almost like a boulevard. You understand? And you down descend towards the road that comes to the airport. Then when you get to the airport road, you now see 8 lanes,
yes,
complete with street lights.
Yes, Excellency.
Particularly in the night, very beautiful.
Yes, Excellency.
And all that. So, which part gives you cramps in your stomach?
It's the back of the airport, yes, Excellency. At the back of the airport.
That when you are inside a plane.
Yes, Excellency.
That is somebody's village, oh.
Yes, Excellency. But it's within the capital territory.
No,
and there is no how, if you are landing.
The owners of that village, those are their houses. That's what they can afford. But are you saying that we should go to those villages and evacuate them so that when your plane is coming down, what you will see high rises?
Your Excellency.
No, I want to understand.
Yes, Your Excellency.
You are talking about when you look out of the window.
Yes, Your Excellency.
You want to see beautiful Chinese infrastructure.
Yes, Your Excellency.
But that is what that place belongs to people.
No, Your Excellency, this is the capital territory of Nigeria, and we are talking of the image of the nation.
Okay, so the image of the nation starts with when your plane is descending.
Your Excellency.
And then you look at what happens in a place like Akwa Ibom. When you descend, you see water, and you see creeks. So we should eliminate the creeks and close.
No, Your Excellency.
So that it will not spoil your eyes.
Your Excellency.
That is the image of the nation.
Your Excellency, everybody that uses Abuja Airport will agree with me, sir. But the issue is, what do we do? What do we do?
Okay. Distinguished colleagues, all those that use Abuja Airport, all those that use Abuja Airport, do you agree with him? Those in support say aye. No, those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it. So there's a lot of disagreement. This is Senator Abiru.
Delta, Ned, don't block Mr. President. We didn't see him yesterday, so we're happy to see him today. Sir, I just want to say that in your absence yesterday, on a lighter note, I spoke to Ningi.
Thank you.
And my brother from Anambra. I said loneliness is not good at old age. So as if you heard me, and your sympathy for the lonely is very well appreciated. And I hope they can take advantage of what is going on to cure themselves of loneliness. But as for the main issue, and I thank you for indulging me, I believe, sir, that all of us who have lived in this city for quite some time will agree that talking about doing things differently, this is what the current FCT minister is doing. We are seeing more action everywhere. And we all know that you cannot have a beautiful omelette unless you break some nice eggs. So you need budgetary support to sustain the infrastructural development that we have seen. And I am also aware, going around, that areas that have been neglected in the past, where the natives or low-density areas, the current minister is extending infrastructure to those areas. The last point I want to make about illegal settlement. I've always told Mr. President that when you travel around the other countries, you have high-profile buildings, you have low-profile buildings. When people talk of Soweto, I used to think that Soweto was one slum. But I found that that is where Mandela lived, two bedrooms, but the area is well paved, allocation of the land is given, and so on. I think the poor can be accommodated with correct infrastructure, water, healthcare, education in those areas, and it's properly planned, and they can locate and live there peacefully. Let's not have Morocco in Lagos, where the poor live, they don't have infrastructure. Where the rich live is what we see. I think that the minister is moving towards those directions. They can find a way to regularize and prevent more slums from developing around Abuja. Mr. President, thank you very much for this privilege to speak.
We have the FCT budget before us, but we must know that the FCT is exploding in terms of population. And so we should plan for schools, we should plan for healthcare, and we should also plan for water and sanitation, so that in future we don't turn some areas into slums. So the point is education, yes, I said so. Schools, healthcare, sanitation, and the basic infrastructure, and even light, because light can also be a major deterrent to criminality. So we must take all those components together as FCT is expanding. So even in areas that are not currently occupied, we should plan for healthcare there, knowing very well that in future population will come. We should plan for schools there, so we don't just keep building and building and there's no school close to the residents. And of course, the healthcare system on its own. So, distinguished Senator Nengi.
Senator Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Central, Bauchi State. Mr. President, without any doubt, one of the highlights of this administration positive initiative could be seen practically in the FCT. The city is beginning to look like an urban city of the 21st century Africa. And one of the reasons why we are seeing this development is because of a personality, Mr. President, borrowed from our own party to come and give the best. Mr. President, you also recalled, you are also a product of our party, and you are doing very, very, very well. And that is what PDP is all about. We produce. And therefore...
Yes, point of order.
And therefore...
Yeah, point of order.
The infrastructure development...
point of order.
The infrastructure development...
Senator Karimi. Point of order. Senator Ningi, what's a minute? Point of order. Senator Karimi, very quickly. Order what?
Himself to the public order discussion. I've explained it. The order is already there. Order.
Down rule out of order. Yes, Senator Ningi,
Mr. President, we have seen the revolutionary infrastructure taking place. And all we need to do as the State House of Assembly of the FCT is to keep on tracking revenues tracking revenues and the utilization of those revenues. And then Senator Alero had also made mention, and Abiru, on the issues of extending these legacies to other areas of concern, particularly education and security. It is imperative by the time the FCT minister spent his 4 years here, I am sure this city will remember the very fundamental work that he has done. But however, I have not seen a very clear oversight of the FCT by this chamber, and we need to do it more. We need to encourage the minister more. We need to work with him. He needs to carry us along. We need to understand the perspective. But so far, he has done so well, excellently well, and we wish him good luck in whatever he's trying to do to achieve in the FCT. We are all proud of this city, and I'm sure Nigerians will remember the very good 2 years he has spent. Over the last 8 years of APC from 2015 to 2023, we have not seen any development. But the man has come and has conquered. I so submit.
Well, OFR, I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I want to join to comment on this bill. I will start by saying, like some previous speakers have said, that the Federal Capital Territory is wearing a very transformed outlook. The roads are beautiful. Infrastructure has been upscaled in terms of delivery. I commend the FCT minister for his work in the area council areas, because Abuja is not only the highways you apply within the city. If you go to the suburbs, you will see that a lot of work is being done to open up those areas with roads and other necessary infrastructure. But with this opportunity you have given to me, Mr. President, I want to speak as a land economist, land resource economist. I'm an estate surveyor and valuer. I'm a fellow of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. I want to speak on something that has been worrying me, which is the high cost of land in the FCT. Lands have become so exorbitant. And last year, when we debated the bill, I pointed out that the only way we can bring high cost of land down is by opening up new areas. Abuja is planned in a concentric circle. From the center, you develop outwards. There are so many layouts in Abuja that have been allocated to individuals, but infrastructures have not been provided those places. That is what is making the prices of land to be very high. For example, even Senator Alero, when he was Minister of the FCT, he handled the allocation of Maitama 2 and other areas. We have Gusape 2. We have other areas that are adjoining the major areas where the development started. It will be good in this budget. I've seen the infrastructural budget, 1.2 trillion. It will be good if the Minister of the FCT takes note of the urgent need to provide services, infrastructure services to the adjoining areas, Maitama 2, Gusakpe 2, and areas like that around the FCT. So that when the roads are provided in those areas and water and other infrastructure are laid, the prices of land will come down because more land will be available for people to build in the FCT. So I join my colleagues in commending the FCT minister that he has been very transformational. His appointment is giving the desired result in terms of infrastructure delivery, because we live in Abuja here. We drive around, we enjoy the roads, very well laid out roads, well laid out schemes. But until we begin to make land cheaper and available to the residents. The high cost of land will continue to be a barrier to development here in the FCT. So I thank you very much, Mr. President. And I want to say that when we look at the budget breakdown, by the time it gets to the committees, we'll be able to seek those areas that are needing infrastructure, so that money should be put in those areas. Let those areas open up. Maitama 2, Asokoro extension and the Gozakbe extension, if we open them up with good roads, sewage, and water, land will become available. The idea where somebody will be selling a plot of land, 10 billion naira in Abuja, is atrocious. 10 billion naira for a small plot of land in Maitama or Asokoro is misapplication of resources. So let's open more land and let the FCT minister continue with his aggressive development of the surrounding cities, Jukoi, Mararaba, Buhari, Wagwalada, all those areas. If we make them good, you can come to Abuja within 40 minutes, to the center within 40 minutes from those places. So the pressure on accommodation and everything will be reduced when these things are done. So I thank you very much. I've spoken as a land resource economist, and I believe Mr. Minister of the FCT will listen to this suggestion. Thank you very much.
Yes. The headquarters of Kororofa Kingdom. Mr. President, by the leave of the leadership of this House, I was appointed the chairman FCT Area Council and Auxiliary Matters. I want to thank you people for that. Mr. President, let it be on record today, I'm part of the history of what is happening in the satellite town. All these issues mentioned here, Mr. President, have been captured, and I participate in almost all the groundbreaking ceremony. Let me start with the school. We started with the school of the gifted school in Gwagwalada. All the school, when you see the school, they were dilapidated, and I and the minister were the first to go there, and he promised, and we went back. Now the construction, I think it will be part of what some of the projects that will be commissioned in 2 years of Mr. President in office. All the schools in FCT, that's number one. Number two,
all the schools,
yes. We visited all the area councils, 6 area councils.
All the schools in the area council?
Yes, we visited.
And wearing new looks now?
Yes. Are giving a new face, and you people will see it within a short time, just some few days to come. Secondly, if you remember, if you recall, Mr. President was in China with some ministers and some governors. There was an agreement signed with the Chinese company to provide potable water for the people of FCT and its environment.
To provide?
Potable water. Water. And the minister just returned from China to follow up with the project. It's already in the 2024 budget. It's been active now. Thirdly, the Honorable Minister secured an approval from the President to build two police stations in each area councils. Those ones are ongoing again. The last one, Mr. President, is the issue of satellite town, which is the suburb area. Mr. President, this minister, we have opened, because I'm part of it, we have opened all the satellite towns, the area councils, new road, we provide them with new roads everywhere. Like in Pai Gumai, which is under Kwali, we are just 30 kilometers away to Niger State. So all the satellite town, is it Buhari and its environs, construction are ongoing, and they are part of the commission to celebrate the 2 years of Mr. President in office. This budget is timely, and I can assure this House, we and my senior colleague here, Senator Bumai, will give him the necessary support, and with the support of this House, and the minister is doing his best. But that does not mean that we are not going to look into consideration of what our colleague, the concerns they have raised. We are going to look into it, but I can assure you, Mr. President, some of these things are ongoing. The projects are ongoing. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, Leader of the Senate, Senator Jimmy Kuta, is the first senator to stand up and thank the leadership for appointing him chairman of a committee in this Senate. So he has made history. Others collect the chairmanship, put it inside their pocket and hide as if they are not, and disappear. But he stood publicly to thank the world that this August Assembly recognized him, and for that he's very grateful. And he went further to give us a status report of what is going on in the area councils in the FCT. That very soon we are going to be commissioning project, not just project, particularly schools, all in the satellite towns have facelifts and all that, which is a way to say that he supports this budget, that the budget is timely. Senator Jimmy Kuta, thank you for your honesty. And please let other chairmen, when they want to stand up and talk, let them also thank the leadership for giving them the opportunity to be chairman. And then from there, even the chairman of appropriation has never stood up to thank us. Senator Ome, I'm sure you can agree with me. So, okay, you have the floor to agree with me.
Thank you.
Led by the minister and supported by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I am saying this with all sense of humility because I am part and parcel of the people who are in private sector and working very hard to ensure the development of Abuja. But the legacy projects happening in 2 years is very commendable. So I believe this budget needs to be passed, and also there is need to look at the critical areas of development that need to be considered by this very important Senate, because Abuja is a center of the country and need to be given all the support and the cooperation. So the minister has performed wonderfully. He served when we are together as local government chairmen. I know him how he is very transparent, very committed, and very determined to ensure the progress of Nigeria and also the progress of FCT. So, Mr. President, this budget is timely and need to be considered, and also if there is any support for the betterment of this country, I think he deserves to be given that commendation, because all the area councils are supported and there is a lot of development going on. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Idiots.
USA's support to the quick passage of this bill. A lot has been said about commendation for the Minister of the FCT. I must say in particular that going through this gazetted statutory appropriation bill in my hand, I can see that a lot has been budgeted for the education sector, which I must commend the minister for giving priority. I must commend him for giving priority to the education sector. Because when you educate a child, you educate the nation. And as we progress, and knowing that for us to have an egalitarian society, education, we must give priority to education. And for the minister to have given priority to the education sector, I thank him, I commend him, and I pray that all that he has put across to us particularly for the tertiary, the secondary, and of course, the Agency for Science and Technology. I pray that they will be able to implement this accordingly. I thank him and I commend him for what he's doing generally in the FCT. May he continue on this trend and let him keep it on. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to address the chamber. Thank you.
FCT mirrors this country. The FCT provides the mirror through which we see Nigeria. Against this backdrop, it is only to be expected that attention will be given to the workings, to the administration, indeed, of the FCT. Visibly, the space has worn a new face. There are visible changes on the face of the FCT, and this attests to the hard work of the minister. But having said that, to whom much is given, much is equally expected. One notes the commendations that have poured in for the job as ably done by the minister, which has earned us respect as a country. When you arrive in Nigeria through the FCT, you see the face of this country. To this extent, the concern that has been raised, the commendations that have been given about the face of the FCT is only to be expected. One only hopes that these commendations will create also a theater of challenges. We are also to act as a prescriptive organ. We commend the new face of the minister, but we also remind the administration that a lot still needs to be done. I am concerned in respect of security. There have been clear improvements, but these should greatly engage our attention. The state of insecurity, as it were, sometimes in our space, but one is encouraged that a lot of attention has been given to this. There have been clear improvements in respect of the architecture, but this is to be maintained. There's also a challenge on us as a legislature to step up our oversight. We have to step up our oversight, working closely with the minister so that the face of the FCT is truly safeguarded. But in conclusion, one observed clear improvements above the FCT. Any visitor to Abuja will be impressed by what he or she is seeing. But as a legislature, we will work closely with the administration. We will sharpen our oversight responsibilities so that at the end of the day, we will have the Abuja of our dream. The Abuja of our dream is a pan-Nigerian model. Every Nigerian should be proud of Abuja because this clearly signposts our unity as a country. The FCT means so much to us as a country, with the improvements in the infrastructure, with the rebate as it is. One trusts that we are getting to the Abuja of our dream, where we can sleep with two eyes closed, where we can mirror, where we can truly mirror the Nigeria of our dream, the capital of this great country. Thank you, and I trust that this engagement offers us a platform both for commendations and to throw a challenge. And we need to do even more so that we can have the FCT of our dream. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, let me thank you all for your contribution.
Reading of this appropriation bill, based on the fact that we are all witness to the great work that is happening in the Federal Capital Territory. And I'm of the opinion that if this type of progress should be sustained, we should back the process with prompt and adequate response when you look at this appropriation, the capital content is almost 70%, while the overhead and the personnel cost remains at 30%. I'm of the opinion that this is a very balanced budget, and this type of budget is focused on productivity. I therefore stand to move that we very quickly recommend this for second reading.
Well, my submission is with regard to the completion of ongoing projects. I think it is very good that this budget imbibes the culture of completing ongoing projects against the culture of abandoning ongoing projects by new administration. This is highly commendable because when we abandon projects that are ongoing and embark upon new projects, it's tantamount to being found foolish and penny wise. So because of that, I support the second reading of this bill. Thank you.
Because what happens in the FCT reflects the entirety of Nigeria. So I do know that there is nobody that is opposed to the bill being read a second time. And therefore, I invite the clerk of the Senate to proceed to read the bill for a second time. Those in support that this bill be now read a second time, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill 888,788,392 naira only, of which the sum of 150 billion 353 million 906,168 naira only is for personnel costs, and the sum of 342.
A bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Federal Capital Territory Administration's Statutory Revenue Fund of the Federal Capital Territory Administration account the total sum of 1,783,823,392 naira only, of which the sum of 150 billion 353 million 906,168 naira only is for personnel costs, and the sum of 343 billion 779 million 677,448 naira only is for overhead costs, while the balance of 1,289,690,124,776 naira only is for capital projects for the service of the Federal Capital Territory Abuja for the financial year commencing from 1st day of January and ending on the 31st day of December 2025. Second reading read. bill is now referred to the Committee on Federal Capital Territory in collaboration with the Committee on Federal Capital Territory Area Council and ancillary matters to revert to the Senate in 1 week. Leader of the Senate.